In this video, I want to talk about something that has tremendously helped me get better entries in the market and focus on what the market is telling me in real time in the present moment. Now, what I'm going to explain, I'm going to show you some actual trading examples, and then I'm going to get into some actual tips that we're going to relate to the charts. But I want you all to understand that it has a deeper meaning, and we can relate this to other aspects of life, including the market, that will solve 90% of our emotional problems. And we have to detach from our mind because our mind is responsible for giving us these thoughts that are not responsible for success. But before we get into it, I recommend everybody to follow me on my Instagram at Ameritrade. I'll post a link in the description below. A while back, I made a post about trading in the now and how less thinking is better thinking. And many traders are focused on the past. Many traders are focused on the future, and they forget about what's right in front of them, and that's the present moment. And this is when we're going to get the best trading decisions, is in the now and in the present. So this kind of has a deeper meaning, and I'm sure a lot of people watching this might not have an open mind to it, but I read something recently and it really clicked with me, and I relate it heavily to the market and has tremendously helped me. People are going to be like, Carmine, what type of drugs are you on? But this is the truth, and I'm confident it will help you. So time is an illusion. Time and the mind are inseparable. If we remove time from the mind stops. If you ever hear me say, think less, or less thinking is better thinking, or let go of the mind, I usually say this a lot on my Instagram, and people are like, what do you mean by that? And this is it right here. So less thinking is better thinking. Let go of the mind. Let go of the thoughts. If you remove time from the mind stops. And this is a good thing. You need to let your mind stop because our mind prevents us from understanding what's right in front of us. Time is an illusion, and the mind and time are inseparable. To separate them, we have to remove time from the mind. Now, the problem with this and why many traders struggle, not only does this relate to trading, but also real life, so think of both scenarios, is because we are identified with our thoughts, because we are trapped in time. Let's say we have a perfect setup in front of us. The market rallies, let's just say, inside of supply, and we say, okay, this looks bullish. We're putting in higher highs. We're putting in higher lows. I don't want to short the market. I don't think it makes sense for the market to sell off and reject here. Well, guess what happens? We don't take the trade because we are connected to time, because we are anticipating something in the future that is non-existent. We are scared to enter this trade because we are fearing that this is going to be a losing trade, or we're fearful that our analysis is not going to be correct. We are identified with these thoughts. Thinking in the market is not good, and having thoughts about the market or the next scenario is improper, and it's impeding our success. This is because we are trapped inside of time. If we're trapped inside of time, we're living through memory and anticipation of a future event. Maybe last week we took a really large loss. We destroyed our account by 50%. Then the market opens up next week. We see a really good setup, but we don't take it because we don't want to lose even more money. Or last week, since we lost so much money, we're just afraid to trade. This memory is going off in our head. Our thoughts are like a gear, and they're constantly spinning. They're constantly going. And our thoughts and our thinking is the oil in the gear that's making it go and making it go. And it's making it never stop. This living through memory and anticipation means we are trapped inside of time, which means we are identified with our thoughts. Going back to what I said in the beginning, think less and let go of the mind. It's just an endless cycle of living in the past and worrying about the future. The best moment we have is the present moment. Now I'm going to show you some trades, and I'm going to relate this to some scenarios that I'm sure a lot of you watching this will relate to and agree with, and something that I've went through one of my first few years of trading as well. But you cannot live in the past and you cannot worry about the future. I can guarantee you, if you do these two things, your success is very far away, and it's going to be very hard to be consistently profitable. If you live in an endless cycle about a past mistake or something that you're anticipating in the future, you don't want to take a loss, or you don't know where the market's going to head, and you're not focusing on right in front of you, then you're going to be in an endless cycle of trapped in time, and your thoughts are going to take over. You're unwilling to honor and acknowledge the present moment, and you're not allowing it to be. The more you're focused on time, past and future, the more you miss the now, and that's the most precious thing there is. If you ever hear me say that the best moment is the present moment, or the market tells us everything that we need to know, I get a lot of questions every time I say, people are like, what do you mean by price and volume gives us everything that we need to know? And this is exactly what I mean. The market has no time. The market's not worrying about the past. The market's not worrying about the future. The market is displaying its true nature right now. And how do we know that? Because buyers and sellers are fighting in the present moment. People are buying, people are selling, and this is going to give us the most important information that we need to know right in front of our faces in that present moment. Now, we might miss this key information. For example, let's just say we double topped inside of the supply zone and we sold off. Now, if we saw this maybe break the high, we're like, okay, this thing's going to break out. We're anticipating something in front for the future, and we're not focusing on the current facts that the market is telling us at this present moment, that we broke the high, we're failing to stay above the high, we're double topping inside of supply, we also have very, very heavy volume, and on the time and sales in level 2, there was a very large seller absorbing all the market aggressive buy orders. That's focusing the present moment. That's going to give us enough information to say, okay, let's take this trade short, let's put risk on the table. I don't know what's going to happen next, but I protect myself, I put risk on the table, and I let the market do its thing, and I react to what it does in real time. This was a setup that I took, and this was in the pre-market plan. The levels are there before the market opens up. So a lot of people might have an argument saying, if you come up with levels or you enter a trade, then you're anticipating something to happen in the future. Now, that is true. You cannot completely ignore the future or forget about the past. However, I want everybody to let go of their mind and focus on the information that the market is giving them right in front of your face. If you can do this, I promise you, 90% of your problems emotionally will dissolve and they'll be non-existent. And if you create a structured plan like this, it also helps tremendously. We come up with levels and we react to when the market hits those levels in the present moment. We're not predicting and saying, okay, as soon as we come to this level, I'm going to short it because I expect the market to go down. That's the wrong approach. You come up with your levels and you react in real time, present moment, forgetting about the past, stop worrying about the future, doing what the market tells you, and then you take a trade and manage your risk. So in the pre-market plan, I post these every single day in my Discord, setups I'm watching, levels I'm looking out for, and I was telling members, I cannot be bullish below 3876 supply, which is this pink box up here. I first want to look for sellers for a sell-off back into 3840, which is this green line down here. So these are the levels, and my job as a trader, now that I have these levels of interest, is separate my mind from time. I have zero control of the market. My thoughts, my thinking will not influence the market. However, what I can control is myself and my thoughts. And we must remove these thoughts by forgetting about the past and stop worrying about the future, acknowledging the present moment, and understanding that all we have right now is the now, as it's the most precious thing. And this is when we're going to take the best high quality setups. I seen this double top. I seen the heavy volume coming into the market. As soon as I see this information and the market gives me what I need, I take the market short. I have my target in mind. Again, you could argue that, okay, if you have a target in mind, then you expect the market to go somewhere in the future. Now, that's correct. We have to have a target in mind with the market. However, I'm reacting to the information that it's giving me in the present moment. I'm not just entering a trade because I expect it to go somewhere. We get a quick sell-off, and this was a 5-6 minute trade that hit my target at 3840 perfectly. And this is following the plan by structuring levels beforehand and reacting to the present moment when the market comes to my levels of interest. And if you can't be present when, let's just say, you're not inside of a trade, or maybe you're watching the market for a potential trading setup, but you can't stay present and you're not conscious of what's going on, then how do you expect if something does go wrong, maybe you're in a trade and you lose on it, how do you expect to be conscious and in the present moment when you're going to fret upon a losing trade or when something goes south, that's going to hurt you in the future because now you're expecting a future result or you're worrying about the past? Again, it all boils down to the past, the present, and the future. So these are all possible scenarios of setups or things in the past that may have scarred you. You can remove all old past scars by focusing on the now. Now, if you've ever blown up a trading account or lost a lot of money, I've done this. This was a past mistake. How many times have you not been patient? Maybe you weren't disciplined enough and it resulted into a losing trade, or you just left a lot of money on the table because you weren't patient. That's a past mistake. Or how many times have you entered a setup, you didn't have a plan, and it resulted in a loss because of that? That's a past mistake. Forget about it. It's over with. We don't want it back. We have to learn from that past mistake. How many of you have gambled? You had no edge or system. You just got in because you saw the market go up, or you shorted something because you saw the market come down. Again, if you've made that mistake, it's fine. Embrace it, learn from it. It's the past. We don't want it back. Or how many of you have took a losing trade in the past, but now you're scared to take the same setup? A lot of people try a new setup they learned or back tested. The first one ends up in a loss, and they're like, okay, this doesn't work out. This didn't work out for me for the one other time that I took it. What's going to make the next one I take make it work anymore? If you take a losing trade in the past, that's over with. If you see the same setup form, try it out again and put risk on the table. Don't be scared because you took a losing trade in the past. You might have the same setup in front of you right now, and it might be the best trade that you may have ever taken. Also about the future. How many of you have FOMO? You have the fear of missing out. You see something ripping 20 or 100 points and you hop on the train. You hop on the train too late, it results in a losing trade, and that losing trade was a result because you had a fear of missing out. You were anticipating a future event that you did not want to miss. How many of you rush to get ready? Maybe you're going to dinner or something like that, and you're anticipating, you have to be there at 7 o'clock, but right now it's 6 o'clock, and you're rushing like crazy. You're worrying about the future. You're worrying about being late. If you focus on getting ready, time is going to slow down. You might even get ready faster, and you might get to dinner on time at 7 o'clock. Have no FOMO, don't have a fear of missing out, and focus on what's right in front of you at that exact moment in that time. If you are worrying about an unknown outcome, you're saying, okay, I don't know if the market's going to come up. I don't know what's going to come down. You try to predict the next move. Nobody knows what's going to happen next. It's the future. Nobody's in the future yet. It's non-existent. Nobody knows what's going to happen. No one can predict the next move. We're all in the same boat. But what's going to separate someone that's going to make money or not is your willingness to let go of the future. And a lot of people don't want to lose money. And if you don't want to lose money, then you're fearing a future event. Again, what's stopping you from making money in the future? But you're worrying so much about losing it that it's going to affect your decision right now. A lot of people want to make money, they want to be active in a trade, and they see other people making good setups or other people making money. They're comparing and they're worrying about the future. Again, slightly philosophical. The present moment is called the present because it's a present. It's a gift. It's all we got and it's all we ever have. There was never a moment where it wasn't the present moment, if you think about it. There's never a time when the past wasn't the present, and there will never be a time when the future isn't the present. When we think about some type of future event, when we're in that future event, it's going to be the present. Or when we think about the past, maybe a week ago or a month ago, when it was that time a month ago, that moment, in that exact time, it was once the present moment. Now that past is over, we don't want it back, and the future is non-existent. We don't have control of the outcome. Let go of your thoughts. Less thinking is better thinking. This is how you solve 90% of your emotional problems, and this is how you stop trading emotionally and you start trading the chart. And that's how I'm going to end this video. If you like this type of style, I know it's a little deeper, a little more spiritual or philosophical, but if you did, drop a like. I would really appreciate that. Let me know how many people actually like these videos, comment any questions, and definitely check out the links in the description below. I'm going to end the video. Peace out.